guys. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this right here, the system of equations. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how we would solve something like this graphically. So we got our beautiful graph over here. And first off, we kind of need to think, what is a system or a solution to a system of equations? So before we've graphed lines and we just get one straight line, in this case, we're going to be graphing two lines. And so let's just think to ourselves, what would a solution be? So when we're graphing one line, we have to remember that our solution is infinite on that line. It's every single point on that line that represents a solution. So we have two individual lines right here. So each point on those lines represents a solution for each of these lines. So the blue line that we get from here, all of those points on there represent solutions for this equation. The red line, all the points on there represent solutions for this equation. When we're talking about systems of equations though, our solution is only the point where these two lines, the blue line and the red line, where their equations meet. So we're gonna have two lines going in same directions, different directions, whatever. The point where they meet, that's what we're looking for here. So you'll be able to see that a little bit later. But just know that's what we're looking for. We're gonna have two lines, they're gonna intersect at one point hopefully. Where they intersect, that's our solution. If they don't intersect, we're gonna talk about that in later videos. But now in this case, we're looking at problems where they will always intersect at one point. So before we get into graphing, our equations here are not in slope-intercept form. So we want to put our equations in the slope-intercept form so we can graph them easy. Because from that we can just take away m and b and we can graph each of these equations pretty easily. So what do we have to do? Let's first look at 3x minus y equals 6. How do we put this into slope-intercept form? So to do that, we're going to have to use those inverse operations that we use when we're solving equations. In this case, we're just solving for y. So our goal is to get y by itself on the left side of this equal sign. So we have to get rid of this 3x and we have to get rid of this negative symbol. So the first step is going to be getting rid of this 3x. How do we do that? We have a positive 3x. To get rid of it, we just subtract 3x from both sides. When we do that, these 3x's cancel out. Negative y drops down. So we have negative y equals, and then on the right side we're left with a 6 and negative 3x. You guys have to remember, one of these has an x and one of them doesn't, so we cannot combine them. So we can just write it as minus 3x plus 6. Now be very careful, we are not done. We're not looking for negative y. We want to know y. So we want our equation to be in the form y equals mx plus b. This is in the form negative y equals mx plus b. So we have to get rid of this negative sign. How do we do that? We divide everything by negative 1. Now this becomes the positive y that we're looking for. So we're left with y equals negative 3 divided by negative 1. This is positive 3x. 6 divided by negative 1. That's just minus 6. So now this equation, this top one, we put it into y equals mx plus b form. And this one really is y equals 3x minus 6. So this just represents the original system. And then here I'm just writing the new system that we're writing, where both of these are in the form y equals mx plus b. Next step, we have to get this red equation into the pretty y equals mx plus b form. We have 4x plus y equals 8. So first step, we subtract 4x from both sides. We do that, the y drops down, these cancel out. We're left with y equals, once again, we can't combine these two, this is just negative 4x plus 8. And then we got lucky in this case, that it's just a positive 1 in front of y, so we don't have to divide both sides by anything. That is just our final equation in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals negative 4x plus 8. So now we have our two equations in slope-intercept form. So we can look at this first one, y equals 3x minus 6, and we're going to graph both of these now. So the number in front of x, that represents our m, that is our slope, and then the number off on its own, that's our b. That's where we're starting. So remember with b is this whole number right here. So the symbol is included. So our b in this case is not positive 6, it's actually negative 6. So for this blue line, we're starting down here at negative 6. And then there's two ways you can do this from here. One is we could just see the slope is 3, so we're going to go up 3. We can put a second point there, and then we can get our ruler, draw the line to those 2 points, and extend it all the way. Or the way I prefer is we just put a lot of different points. We just keep extending the points on this line. It's a more kind of precise method because there is going to be some small errors with the ruler where it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to go through each exact point. It might be off by a tad bit. So we go up to 1, or up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. We can go 1 in this direction. So down 3 over 1. So we have these points on our graph. I think that's enough for now. So we can draw a line. This line's not going to be great because my graph isn't scaled perfectly, but let's pretend that line's straight. Alright, now let's graph the red line. So y equals negative 4x plus 8. Our n is negative 4. Our b is positive 8. So we're starting at the value positive 8. And we're going down 4, 1 to the right. So down 4, 1 to the right. Down 4, And then right here, you can see we put a red dot at 2, 0. There's also a blue dot there already. So if you were to draw our line through, we can see that these two lines, the red and the blue equation, they both share this point in common at 2, 0. So our solution in this case is going to be at the point where the two graphs intersect, which is at 2, 0. Remember, when you're writing a coordinate, you write the x first and then the y second. So it's at the x value 2, the y value 0, so we write the solution as 2, 0. And that is all I got for you guys today.